Greetings, I'm Dev the developer.
And I'm Glitch.
Every selector we have covered so far has targeted something specific. Type selectors target a tag, class selectors target elements by category, ID selectors target one unique element. The universal selector does none of that. It targets everything with no conditions at all. The universal selector is a single asterisk. Drop it into your CSS and the rule applies to every element on the page. Every heading, every paragraph, every div, every link, every image. The asterisk spares nothing.
Okay, so everything on the page turns hot pink, simultaneously every element.
Everything turns hot pink. I'm glad we tried that in a controlled environment. The universal selector is powerful, but is rarely the right choice for individual element styling. Its main practical use is resetting browser defaults. Here's the problem the universal selector solves. Browsers apply their own default styles to every page before your CSS runs. Headings get certain margins, the body element has margin and padding, links are blue and underlined. These defaults vary slightly between browsers, which means a page with no style sheet can look slightly different in Chrome, Firefox, and Safari. A CSS reset removes those defaults and gives you a blank, consistent starting point.
Wait, so without a reset, I am building on top of someone else's defaults.
You are, and those defaults might look fine until you open the page on a different browser and notice the spacing is slightly off. The reset wipes them out and gives you the same starting values everywhere. The universal selector has the lowest specificity of any selector. It loses to everything. A type selector rule overrides it. A class selector overrides it. An ID selector overrides it. This is by design. The reset is a starting point, not a final rule. You override it everywhere with more specific selectors.
That's actually the right mental model. The asterisk rule is the floor. Everything else builds up from it.
There is a second use case. You can combine the universal selector with another selector to target all descendants of a specific element. Write the parent selector, then a space, then the asterisk. This matches every element nested anywhere inside the parent at any depth.
So nav star reaches every element inside that nav simultaneously, every element regardless of its type or position. Every child, every grandchild, every element at any depth in the entire subtree. It is like issuing a synchronization command to the whole fleet. I mean, applying consistent styles to the entire nav structure. That is what it does.
Every descendant element inside nav, yes.
Right, standard nav styling.
Worth noting on performance. The universal selector tells the browser to check every element on the page against the rule. On a small page, this is not noticeable. On a very large or complex page, it can have an impact. That is part of why you use it sparingly and primarily for resets or contained patterns like navstar, not for decorative rules you could write out more specifically. The asterisk matches everything. Lower specificity? Primary uses are CSS resets and targeted descendant groups. The browser defaults you are writing against are real, and a reset at the top of your style sheet gives you a cleaner, more consistent foundation to build on. Add a reset block to your style sheet and see how removing the browser defaults changes the spacing and layouts of your page. Don't just watch it, do it.